بعد العسر يسرا ربنا
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وسيد النبيين سيدنا وحبيبنا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. We thank you all our listeners this noble afternoon for being with us, listening to us. Share our video, like our page, and try to connect with us. Anytime you subscribe to our page, whenever we have any new videos, you'll be able to get the notification and then be able to watch. We have in our midst today a very important personality, a very high profile person in Islam and also in the history of Ghana as large. We are privileged to have in our midst Professor Peligah Yakubu Seidu. He has a lot and he has done a lot for the nation Ghana and Islam, to be specific. And so we decided to connect with him today so that we ask him one or two things that he has experienced, he has done, he has gone through, his contributions to Islam and what have you, so that at least the youth of today can derive a lot of lessons from him. At their time, they did a lot, only that we have not been able to go closer to them to ask them what they did so that we can appreciate what they did. But alhamdulillah, this is a great opportunity for us to be able to ask him so that he tells us, and then the youth of today can emulate him as a role model so that Islam tomorrow can be as equally better as at their time. If you are with us, we greet you this afternoon with the sincere salutation of Islam, and that is Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Shaykh Ismail. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah.
Yeah.
One may try to find out when we say Professor Peligah Yakubu Seidu, if somebody hears the name, what should the person or whom should the person expect?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله لقد جاء رسول ربنا بالحق والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد عبده ورسوله والخاتم الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين وصحبه الصادقين وبعد رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي إنك كنت بنا بصيرا. I think most people know the name Peligah more than anything else. But when you say Yakubu Seidu Peligah, that is a person. I was born and given the name Seidu by my parents.
Oh.
That is my personal name, is Seidu.
Okay.
Born in Tamale in 1955.
Okay.
My parents, my mother was called Aisha.
Okay.
Or locally they say Mai.
Okay.
And then my father was called Yakubu.
Okay.
My father's name was Yakubu.
Okay. And so, can we say you are
state transport
by
what
tribe?
they call SPC now. It was one of the tribal. That is interesting question. That is an interesting question because both of my parents, both my father and my mother, are what we call in Tamale, especially the Zongo areas, it says Shinkafada Wache. Shinkafada Wache means rice and beans.
Okay.
So both of them their parents were rice and beans. It means the father comes from one tribe, the mother from another tribe.
Okay.
So my father, his father was Musi and the mother was the Gomba. And the same thing with my mother. Her father was also Moshi, and her mother is the Gumba. So both of my parents were Chinkapa and Wachi.
Very interesting.
Which makes me, I think, jollof or something with
Everything, all the
spaghetti and
spices are
things, because
included.
then all the spices are mixed. So both of my parents, incidentally, their fathers were Moshi and their mothers were the Bombas.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I didn't meet the Moshi. They all both died before I was born. So I met only the old ladies, the grandmothers. And so I was raised in Tamale, in the Bomba town area, which we call the Gwanda Bufu, which is the chief's area. That's where the Pima and the Bupena palaces are. So that's the area I grew up in the care of my uncle, who is called Alhaji Suleiman Akwafu.
Oh, okay.
And he took care of me in terms of my upbringing, education, and all that.
Okay. So
this Peligah is a person.
You say you were called Seidu. So how then the Peligah came in?
That is actually something which happened in the course of my upbringing, because all throughout my basic school to the end of middle school, my name was Yakubu Seidu.
Okay.
And I went to college in Training College in 1972. I didn't go to secondary school because we didn't have the luxury. They couldn't afford to send me to secondary school, my uncle. Oh. So I went to training college. I actually started, after middle school, I worked as a houseboy first, actually. And then I worked at PWD. Okay. I became an apprentice to some painting, these hotels and restaurants and all those things. We did those kind of things.
Okay.
And then from there, I worked with the PWD, Public Works Department, as a sign writer. So I became a sign writer with PWD. We were doing these road signs.
Okay.
Turn right, left turn, no entry, those things. The milestone marks. We used to go around the roads painting those milestones and writing the miles. 50 miles to Kumasi and those things. That was our job.
Oh, okay.
Then from there, I applied to the training college, Pusiga Training College in Pusiga, which is after Boku.
Okay.
It's a border town in 1972. So I went to college there as well. Still, my name was Yakubu Seidu.
Okay.
From there, after my college years, 1976, I privately wrote the O levels. And then I decided to go to university, KNUST.
Okay.
In those days, they had what they call pre-degree courses. It was equivalent to the sixth form, but you went to the university for that one. You go to the university actually to do 2 years pre-degree.
Okay.
And if you pass, then you enroll for a degree course.
Okay.
So from Pusiga in Boku there, I applied in writing to the university, KNUST, with my name Yakubu Seidu.
Okay.
To the College of Art.
Okay.
For the pre-degree course in arts. And those days, because they didn't have computers for admission, they would just publish the list in the newspaper.
Yes.
Imagine the hundreds of names will come in the graphic, and then you have to look through and see if your name is there.
Yes.
So I looked and I saw Yakubu Seidu.
Okay.
Of course. So, and it was in the College of Art. So, of course, I jubilated. And I packed my bag and baggage all the way from Pusiga to Kumasi.
Okay.
To KNUST, the University of Science and Technology those days, that's how it was called. Then I registered in the hall, registered for the course, and then we actually started lectures.
Okay.
For almost a term, more than 2 months, getting to 3 months. Then one day the head of department came inside to the classroom and asked, "Who is Yakubu Seidu?" I raised my hand He said, please come to the office. So I went to his office, and there was these 2 other lecturers, and there was a young man sitting there, weeping. And then they gave me a seat and then asked me, what is your name? I said, Yakubu Seidu. And they asked that young man, what is your name? He said, Yakubu Seidu.
Hey.
I said, hey, this is serious. So the lecturers looked at each other and they asked me, okay, what is your surname? What is your father's name? I said, Yakubu. They asked him, what is your father's name? He said, Yakubu. You know, so even our mother's names were the same.
Oh, wow.
His mother was also called Aisha, and my mother was called Aisha. And we both applied to do that course, but I came earlier because we all saw the name Yakubu Seidu and we came. Then we realized that there was a clash.
Okay.
So ultimately, I mean, they have to go to the administration and look through the files manually and bring the applications to decide who was the actual one they admitted. Unfortunately, it was him who was given the admission, not me.
You have attended the school for some time.
They said, sorry, my friend, you have to go back because we have taken the full number. They wanted 60 students and they had taken the 60, they couldn't exceed. So they decided that, okay, I have to go home. But because I came earlier, I've been there and they saw my work and they saw how I could do. They said, no, but you can do the course. Unfortunately, we can't take the number. So what they said was that, look, we'll just add your name to this class and you go home. After the 2 years, then you come and take the entry exams with the class.
Okay.
If you qualify, fine. If not, then that is it. Do you agree? I said yes. So I agreed to go home for 2 years, and then they were in the school. And I had to go take this young man to the hall and introduce him to the hall authorities that actually he is the one who was supposed to be there. And that was
wonderful.
It was enough to have, if it hasn't been for Islam, then it is not enough for somebody to commit suicide.
Yes.
So that is how come we agreed then that, my friend, look, if we are going to do this course together, then we must do something about our names. You go home and find some other name to add to your name, and I also go and find mine. So when I got home, I decided to look for a name, and I asked, my grandfather's name was what, you see? So my grandfather, being you remember a Moshi man, he came from Burkina Faso in the early 50s, settled in Tamale there. So, and I was given the name. So that's how come I added the Peligah.
Okay.
And it was unique. Unique because it's a name that is linked to the village where he came from.
Okay.
So when you say Peligah, anybody who is Moshi will know exactly where you came from.
Okay.
We can take you to your hometown.
Okay. Wow.
So that is the reason why you have Peligah. And I use that more than the Yakubu Seidu because it gives you an identity.
Yes. That's very true. That's
Yakubu is common, Seidu is common.
A very
is very rare.
Prof has given us a very insightful story. Firstly, he was a house help, or let me say, somebody who is a house help and later on became a professor. Very wonderful. Somebody who wasn't admitted in a school, but fortunately for him, he was able to sail through education, and now he has become who he is today. And finally, he also mentioned something very important. You know, usually Christians, they take justice, then he asked maybe Joseph to read. So you wouldn't be able to identify where the person actually comes from, whether he's a black, whether he's an African, even if he's an African, which part of Africa does the person come from? You know, naming is part of our culture. And so we shouldn't throw away our traditional names and take the religious affiliated names. When we take the religious affiliated names, we have to add our indigenous names or maybe our tribal names attached to it so that it will identify us as who we are. And so we hear Professor Peligah. When you mention Professor Yakubu Seidu, nobody will know him. And that Peligah gives him the identity he holds today. Very, very insightful story. You started mentioning some of your educational background.
Incidentally, just before that, I think I should also mention my friend, the other Yakubu Seidu.
Okay.
So he also went and then he took good man.
Good man.
So Yakubu Seidu man and Yakubu Seidu Peligah. So the good man family is also a very famous family in Tamale, from the Goodman family.
Of that
in Tamale, a lot of people will know Alhaji Goodman, who was a specialist in key making in Tamale.
Okay.
So he is from that background. So he also took that Goodman family. So they are also very unique. Everybody knows Goodman family.
Wow.
Okay, so incidentally, he after the first degree, he decided to change his course. Those days you could change from your course from the area. So he changed from art to architecture.
Okay.
And today he is one of those architects who worked on the Central Mosque in Accra, the new Central Mosque.
Okay. Wow.
He is one of those architects who supervised that project.
Wow, wonderful. And so, who Yakubu Seidus are now successful, let me say, should I call gentlemen in their life? They have been able to succeed in all whatever they were doing in life. I've heard of a good man, but I didn't know that, should I say, you are related to each other in name, in family, same father, only that you come from different areas.
Yeah.
Your other brother, let me say your twin brother.
Yeah, so yeah, my other brother. We became very good friends. And he actually designed my house plan for me in Tamale for building my house.
Wow. Very, very wonderful. Very, very wonderful.
All right. So I think you were asking about the education.
You started your education and how you end up being a professor today.
All right. So Alhamdulillah, you see, my uncle adopted me. So I didn't grow up with my father or my parents. I grew up in the town, the Gumba town area with my uncle, Alhaji Suleiman of Prof, who was and his name is also interesting. I'll come to explain that.
Okay.
So he was a transport owner and a farmer. He's a big time farmer. In fact, he was the first regional best farmer when they started this national best farmer thing. He was the first to win it in the northern region.
Okay. Wow.
So he adopted a lot of his nephews and nieces and cousins to come to his house, and he raised us up. So the house was full of people, of relatives from various backgrounds.
Okay.
And as I said, you see, like my father and mother, their fathers were Moshis.
Okay.
So you will have, in that family, you have people whose parents were Ashanti, or Kunkumba, or Kusasi, or, Gonja, all kinds of tribes were inside that family. And you also have Muslims and Christians and traditionalists, all in the same family.
Okay.
So, and my uncle, his policy was to divide us. So he sent some people to school.
Okay.
Sent some people to Makaranta.
Okay.
And kept some people who were working with him on the transport, and some people who were on the farm. So if you are not lucky, so I was.
You are fortunate to be part of school.
Yes, I ended up in school.
Okay.
Which means I didn't go to Makaranta.
Okay.
And so that was what he was doing. He will not allow you to do both. So he will send you, either he send you to school or he send you to Makaranta. Or he keep you on the farm, or you'll be in the transport business. So I went to the Kwame Primary School in Tamale, where I did my elementary school, primary 1 to 6. And then went to the Bopa Middle Mixed School, also in Tamale, just behind the hospital, where the regional hospital is.
Okay.
Just behind it. The school is still there.
Okay.
It's called the Kema Middle Mixed School. And that is where I did my elementary school up to Form 4. And it was after that one, in 1968, that I had to work as a houseboy, to one Indian man. My mother was an Indian man called Mr. Manu, who had a shop in town selling, clothing materials, shoes, those kind of things. But his wife was an Ashanti woman, and I was their husband. Okay. Yes. But when I was there, he noticed that I was very good in drawing. You see, and so during that period, one time this signwriter came to do our signboard, and my master introduced me to him. He said, so he showed him my way. So that man took me as an apprentice. And so that is how the whole thing just worked out. One thing leading to the other. Okay. But after that, I went to Peligah Training College, which was a 4-year post-middle, 4-year teacher certificate A, 1972 to 1976. Okay. Which I finished that one with a distinction. And so the college actually took me on to be in their practice school in Peligah town, where I was attached to teach in the practice school. So instead of going back to my hometown in Tamale, the college adopted me because I got distinction to be in the practice school. So it was while I was there that I took this pre-degree, exam for tech, and then I went and experienced that Seidu good man, Seidu Peligah to me. But in 1980, after that, we both qualified for the degree course. In 1979, 1980, to go and start the degree, which was a degree in painting, in art. So those days, the first degree, you do all the areas in art. You test everything the first year, painting, sculpture, textile, ceramics, metal, graphic design. So you do a little bit of each. Then in the second year, you choose an area that you want to specialize. Okay. So I chose to do painting. My brother Goodman, he decided to do textiles. He wanted to do textiles. Those who produce the cloth. Okay. Unfortunately, he didn't get it. And he didn't want to do any other course in art apart from that. Okay. So he changed. He applied to change from art to architecture. And those days you could do that. At KNUS in tech, you could change your course, especially between some departments. Okay. So you could change from art to architecture and vice versa. And you could move. So he moved to architecture and then specialized in architecture. Okay. And then I stayed in the College of Art. I graduated with my BA in art in 1982. Okay. A second class. But I was to get a first degree, first class. But something happened during my final year because I became the GMSA president. Okay. During my third year, GMSA president for tech, and then became the national GMSA president. Okay. Then that is the time Gaddafi made his coup, and Rawlings had also made his coup in Ghana. So these were revolutionary years, and Ghana and Libya became friends. So Libya invited Muslim organizations across the world to Libya for an Islamic conference through the Islamic Call Society. Okay. And because I was the GMSA national president, we were invited as GMSA. So we took a delegation of all the GMSA presidents from KNUST, from Legon, from Cape Coast. These were the 3 universities operating then. Okay. The others were not in place. So I myself was at Tech. Sibawe was in Legon, he was the president. And then Mohammed Harun was the president for Cape Coast. Okay. Mohammed Harun, he was, they call him Cambodia.
Mm-hmm.
He became the regional director of education in Northern Region. He just retired
Okay.
last year or last 2 years.
Wow.
So he was the GMSA president for Cape Coast. So three of us like that were for GMSA. Imam Rashid was the army imam. Imam Rashid, who is now the Salawatiya helper, he was the national imam for the Ghana army.
Oh,
so
okay.
he was also part of that delegation.
Okay.
So it was a good delegation of Muslims
Wow.
who went to Libya. And because of that, unfortunately for me, it was exams time.
Mm-hmm.
And then we spent a whole month in Libya.
Wow.
So one of my lecturers was an American man. So when I came back, they had done the exams and all that. And so I got some B's and C's, and that brought my grade down to second upper.
Okay.
Otherwise, I was supposed to get a first class. But still, Alhamdulillah,
it isn't bad.
I moved on. I didn't, yes. Because I trained as a teacher, I should have gone to the teaching, to GES, to be posted to a school, because I was attached to the Kusiga College.
Yeah.
But because of this thing that happened with me at Tech, in order to write that exam, I had to move to Tamale in order to do private studies.
Okay.
So I went to Tamale to teach at Zogbeli Middle Mixed School. That is where I was teaching while I was preparing to write the entrance exam.
Okay.
And so, but when I finished this first degree, I did well. So I moved on to do a postgraduate diploma.
Okay.
At KNUST in art education, which is preparing to teach. So you train as a first degree, you are training as a professional artist.
Yeah.
But the postgraduate diploma in art education is preparing to be a teacher. How do you teach art?
Okay.
Okay, so I did that. And there also I did well. And the department decided that they needed me there.
Wow.
So I registered for a master's in art education in the same department. And they took me on as a TA, a teaching assistant, while I prepared for the master's. And I did the master's also.
Okay.
So by the time I finished the master's, 1984, then I was interviewed for appointment to start work there.
Okay.
Which means I spent 1984 to 1986, I did my national service in the department at KNUST. So effectively, I transferred from the GES to university.
Okay.
Because GES is a separate thing, the universities are separate.
Yeah.
So if you are a teacher and the GES and you want to work in the university, you have to take a permission or transfer.
Yeah.
So I took formal transfer and I was transferred to the university system, where I was employed officially in 1986, as an assistant lecturer, and then continued from there. Okay, so I worked there, went through the ranks, lecturer, senior lecturer, and then I went for my PhD in the UK.
Okay.
From 1990 to 1994, where I did my PhD in art therapy.
Okay.
Which was a new thing. I think I was the first in Ghana to do that course, to introduce it into the university system in Ghana.
Wow.
Because it was in response to a demand. So basically, that's the educational background as far as the secular is concerned. Yes, up to the PhD level.
Okay.
And so on. So inshallah, that's the education for you.
Have you
as far as Islam,
in a way?
Islam, interestingly, no. As I said, my uncle didn't put me in the Makaranta to start with. So I didn't have any basis in Islam. It was when I went to, first of all, actually, when I was in the training college, because I was working as an apprentice in Tamale, in that community, I met a young man who, I wasn't praying at all. I was just, because the way our family, it was just mixed up. You have Christians, Muslims, traditional. So, I mean, it was like a free kind of environment. So there was no pressure for anybody to practice Islam.
Whatever you want.
And indeed, My father himself, yes, my father himself was not a Muslim. My direct father was not a Muslim.
Wow.
So it was there during that time I met a young man who asked me about why are you not praying? I said, what do you mean? I don't know how to pray. So he taught me the Fatiha, to write it in English. The Fatiha, the Kulu Allah, Kulu Azul, what I could use to pray. And basically, so may Allah bless that young man. He's dead. Mr. Muru, they call him. So that is how my first contact to start praying was through that young man. And then when I went to college, then in Peligah, then I met GMSA for the first time, 1972, 76. That is where I saw GMSA was established. And I was a member in the Upper East branch. There I became very active. There also I became a GMSA president in the college, Peligah Training College. And I took very active role in GMSA activities in the upper region, Upper East, Upper West, Northern region. Okay. So we used to have regional conventions and so on. Wow. So I became very interested in the GMSA activities. But as far as studying Islam is concerned, it was when I went to the university that my roommate was a Muslim. He was a practicing Muslim. He was a Tijaniya young man. Okay. Called Alhaji Misbahu. Okay. Alhaji Misbahu was from Kofredwa. Okay. He was a Kofredwa Zongo boy. And he was my roommate. So, and those days Muslims were not many in the university, so we didn't have mosque to pray. Everybody was, on their own. Yeah. So during our discussions in the room, he asked me. I said, "No, I don't know how to read Quran." So he started teaching me Alif Ba. Wow. In the room. So I started learning from Alhaji Misbahu to read the Arabic alphabet, and then started reading slow, gradually. And that is how I started with my Islamic. So it's mainly self-taught, I would say. So because most of the time I have to be learning this on my own. And then little books here and there. Yeah, that is how I built up myself through. And then when I went to the UK, I made several attempts to learn it privately. Okay. Getting private teachers here and there, but it didn't go very far. Okay. When I went to UK for my PhD, there was a special Arabic course organized by Dr. Muhammad Surti, who was a lecturer in the University of Birmingham. Okay. Which is actually a Catholic university, but he was a Muslim teaching Arabic there. Okay. Quranic, and he had a course in Quranic Arabic. Okay. So he organized weekend classes with this Quranic Arabic, which I took Saturday, Sunday for 9 months. So I have a certificate in that one, Quranic Arabic. Okay. Okay, and so that is basically what it is. And since then, I've been, trying to develop myself all the time. You yourself, we've tried to do some telephone lectures as well, basic Arabic. Yeah. Because I think that learning, as the Prophet said, is a lifelong journey. As long as you are not dead, from the cradle to the grave, you have to keep on learning. Yeah. So even recently, early this year, I went to the Institute of Ghana Language to register for Arabic classes. Wow. And then they put me in the intermediate class. We started the classes, and unfortunately, this COVID-19 came and stopped the whole thing. Wow! So I'm back again to square one.
You are not back again to square one. We shall continue. I remember.
I'm now again to do it yourself classes.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember when we used to study the Arabic grammar together. Yeah, and I called Prof on phone. He sits in front of his book. He reads. We do some little interpretations. That is very wonderful. A very noble man, a PhD holder, a degree, a professor of that nature, and then coming to learn Arabic from a young guy like me. that is very humble of him. And then trying to still learn. In our Muslim communities, it's very difficult to see people learning Islam. When you try to even introduce anything Islamic related to them, they'll tell you that we have grown to a level that we cannot study Islam anymore. Some people are more busier with their businesses. Some people are more busy with their schedules every day, and they forget about learning what is going to take us to the hereafter. And so, at his age, we can all see his face, white beard, more than 60 years, still forcing to learn Islam, still pushing to know all the corners about Islamic faith, Islamic practices, Islamic ethics, and what have you, so that he can be able to worship Allah very well. We should all learn lessons from him, especially the young ones. When they start some small business, they don't even want to pray anymore. They don't want to fast anymore. When you tell them, they will tell you that when we grow, who told you that you will grow to that level before Allah will call you? So it's a great example for all of us, and we must imitate that.
أنت نور الله فجرا جئت بعد العسر يسرا ربنا أعلاك قدرا يا إمام